Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'll explain how easy it is to add the Syncfusion Blazor Range Selector component to a Blazor Web Assembly application. Here, you can visualize the high-level data, like Bitcoin price range with Area Series in the Range Navigator. Area Series is used to represent the data. The selected range values are enhanced with the Tooltip. We will see how to configure the basic Range Selector component, with a few of its basic features like binding data, applying range, series type, tooltip, customizing grid and tick lines. You will also see how to render a lightweight range selector without a chart. Let me start with the application creation process. A Blazor application can be created using Visual Studio 2019 or 2022, Visual Studio Code, or JetBrains Writer. In this video, I'll show you how to create a Blazor Web Assembly application using Visual Studio 2022. Make sure that you have installed a compatible SDK version like the .NET Core SDK 3.1.8, .NET 5.0 SDK, or .NET 6.0 SDK. First, open Visual Studio 2022 and choose Create a New Project from the dashboard. Then, choose the Blazor Web Assembly app and click the Next button. Name your project, and click Next. Then, select .NET 6.0 as the target framework and click the Create button. A project has been created and is ready to use. Now, I will show you the step-by-step process for adding the Range Selector component to this project. First, we need to install the Range Navigator package. Open the NuGet Package Manager, search for the Syncfusion Blazor Range Navigator package, and install it in your application. Once installed, you can see the package added to this application's packages folder. Then, navigate to the imports.razor page and import the syncfusion.blazor.charts namespace. Next, we need to register the Syncfusion Blazor services. In the program.cs file, import the Syncfusion.blazor namespace and register the Syncfusion Blazor service using the add Syncfusion Blazor method. Set the Ignore Script Isolation option to True to improve application performance by referencing the script externally. We also need to register the license with a valid key, using the Register License method, to avoid the license validation message. Next, navigate to the index.html page within the root folder, and include the script reference, as we enabled the Ignore Script Isolation option. Then add a Syncfusion Bootstrap 5 CSS reference from the installed package. If you want to know more about the Blazor Web Assembly app and how to add Syncfusion components to it, you can check out the video linked in the card above. The configuration steps are done, so let's move on to adding the Blazor Range Navigator component to the index.razor page. Include the SF Range Navigator tag. Let me run this application and check the default layout of Range Selector before binding data. In the output, the Range Selector is rendered, and here you can choose any range. Next, I will show you how to bind data in the Range Selector. You can bind numeric, logarithmic, or datetime types of data to the Range Selector. Let's do datetime data. You can check out the other types in the UG linked in the card above. In the @code directive, define the model class stock price with the date property of type datetime and the close property of type double. Then, define the list variable stock details based on the model class and define the list. Then, include the Range Navigator Series Collection property to specify the series collection and the Range Navigator Series property to specify the single series. Map the date field to the xName property and close field to the yname property. You can specify the data source either in the Range Navigator series or directly in the Range Navigator, depending on your requirement. Sometimes, you may need more series with different data source. So, specify the respective data source for each series. In some cases, single data source may contain the necessary fields to map different series. In that case, bind the data source directly with the Range Navigator and map the corresponding fields to each series. Since I'm going to render the Range Navigator with a single series, I'll specify the data source in the Range Navigator tag. Assign the stock details variable to data source property in Range Navigator tag. Include the value type property in the Range Navigator tag to specify the type of value as datetime. See in the output, the range selector renders with a chart based on the provided data source and type. I can also customize the format in the datetime axis. Include the label format property in Range Navigator and set the custom month and year format. Check now, datetime axis labels are displayed with custom format. Next, I will show you how to set a range in the Range Selector component using the value property. Define the private variable range value of type object array and set the date values. Assign this variable to the value property of Range Selector. See in the output, the provided range is selected. Now, I will show you how to change the series type of the chart. The three types of series in the Range Navigator component are line, area, and step line. So far, we have only seen the default line series. Now, add the type property to the Range Navigator series and set its value to Range Navigator type.area. In the output, series are rendered with area type. Then set the series type to step line. In the output, series are rendered like a step line. To customize the grid line, include the Range Navigator Major Grid Lines property. Set the color to green and the width value to 4. Looking at the output, the color and width of the grid lines are changed. To customize the tick lines, add the Range Navigator Major Tick Lines property and change its color to yellow and width to 3. Check now, the color and width of the tick lines are changed. Next, I will show you how to enable the tooltip in the Range Selector on demand. Include the Range Navigator Range Tooltip Settings property and set the Enable property value to True. When I click the range, tooltip will be shown for that. To show tooltip on initial loading of this example, add the Display Mode property in Tooltip Settings and set its value to Always. In the output, the Range Navigator is rendered with the tooltip. Finally, I will show you how to render a lightweight range selector without a chart. By default, when the series collection is not mapped in Range Navigator, a lightweight range selector will be initialized without a chart. So, cut and paste the XName and YName properties from the Range Navigator series property to SF Range Navigator tag. Then comment out the Range Navigator series collection. See in the output, the Range Navigator renders without a chart. In this video, I have shown you how to create a Blazor Web Assembly application, add a range selector component to it, and then configure a few of its basic features. You can download this working example from the GitHub link in the description below. You can also see about registering for a free license key to use our Blazor products if you're eligible for our community license. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel.